During the earlier stages of the offseason, Jordan Schultz reported that the Dallas Cowboys attempted to trade for Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Rashad Bateman. Bateman, who signed a new deal with the Ravens, clearly isn't in Dallas. Instead, the Cowboys ended up trading for Pittsburgh Steelers star George Pickens, and that might not be the worst thing. Sources: during their pursuit of a receiver, the #Cowboys also looked into a trade for #Ravens WR Rashad Bateman. Those talks didn't go far, and Dallas ultimately struck a post-draft deal with the #Steelers for George Pickens. Dallas' search for another receiver was a months-long process, he wrote. Is Bateman better than Pickens? While Bateman is a decent player, it's tough to ignore what Pickens has been throughout his career. There's a reason why the Dallas Cowboys wanted to trade for both players, but Pickens is the better option. Coming off a season where he posted 900 yards on 59 receptions, good for 15.3 yards per catch, the hope is for Pickens to be even better in a Cowboys jersey. With how much better the Cowboys' offense is than the Steelers', it shouldn't be too much of a surprise if things go as planned. Regarding Bateman, however, he noted too that the Cowboys attempted to land him and that he went through plenty with them. I went through a lot of things with the Cowboys and all of that with my contract, Bateman said, per The Athletic. There was a time when I didn't know what was going to happen. The Cowboys' talks were a thing for sure. It was a possibility. I don't want to deny that. But, DaCosta, he's always making magic work, and he made it work. And I'm thankful for that. Would Bateman have wanted to leave Baltimore? Despite the interest that the Dallas Cowboys had in trading for Bateman, he told reporters, including The Athletic, that he was interested in returning to the Baltimore Ravens. Frankly, the Ravens have been a bit better of a team over the past few years, so it's tough to blame him too much. While the Ravens haven't found much success in the postseason, the idea is for them to eventually do so. That's the first thing I told GM Eric DaCosta. I don't want to go anywhere else. I know you've got a lot of stuff to work through, and we'll figure it out when we figure it out, Bateman told The Athletic. It took time, but it takes time with a lot of people's contracts. He had a lot of contracts to get done, and maybe more to get done in the future. To be a priority for him in that way is important. He shows he values me. Bateman has been a somewhat polarizing player throughout the first 4 years of his career. Unfortunately, he's dealt with some injuries. However, when he's on the field, he's been very good, and that was evident last year when he posted 756 yards on 45 receptions, good for 16.8 yards per reception. He also had 9 touchdowns, the most of his career. The Dallas Cowboys had a backup option in case they couldn't acquire George Pickens, and Baltimore Ravens fans should feel grateful the boys didn't have to use it. According to Ravens wideout Rashad Bateman, the Cowboys were also considering a trade for Baltimore's first-round selection in the 2021 NFL Draft. Bateman is about to sign a new contract with the Ravens, but will enter the final year of his deal in 2025. Bateman is coming off a career year in 2024, where he set highs in receiving yards, 756, and touchdowns, 9. That earned him both his new deal and some interest from other teams. How close was Rashad Bateman to being traded to the Cowboys? Bateman is reportedly on the verge of signing a $36.75 million contract with the Ravens. But with his contract status up in the air past this year before then, Baltimore general manager Eric DaCosta was shopping the soon-to-be fifth-year receiver. DaCosta told Bateman the Cowboys were interested and that talks were going somewhere. I went through a lot of things with the Cowboys and all of that with my contract, Bateman told The Athletic. There was a time when I didn't know what was going to happen. The Cowboys' talks were a thing for sure. It was a possibility. I don't want to deny that. But, DaCosta, he's always making magic work, and he made the contract work, and I'm thankful for that. Bateman always wanted to stay with the team that drafted him. But even though DaCosta considered a trade to Dallas, that was shut down after the Cowboys acquired Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2026 third-round pick in March. Bateman felt appreciated when he got his new deal. The first thing I told him was, I don't want to go anywhere else. I know you've got a lot of stuff to work through, and we'll figure it out when we figure it out, Bateman said of his conversation with DaCosta. It took time, but it takes time with a lot of people's contracts. To be a priority for him in that way is important. He shows he values me. What else did Rashad Bateman say? Bateman has been a member of this ideation of the Ravens, with superstar quarterback Lamar Jackson and their dominant defense. But he thinks Baltimore is ready to finally get over the hump in 2025. "I think we've proven that we can play with anybody," Bateman said. "We have some of the best players. I just think in the important times, in those clutch moments, all of us have to lock in and do everything right." The Ravens have been ousted by the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills in consecutive seasons, and they'll have the chance to exact revenge during the regular season, and even the postseason, potentially. Baltimore opens against the Bills in Week 1 in the season opener of Sunday Night Football. "I don't know if any of us are over it," Bateman said. "We definitely have had time to digest what happened or how it went down, but we still have a sour taste in our mouths. It's kind of crazy that we open up the season with the Bills. Hopefully, we can go up there and get our licks back." Frisco. Last year, the Dallas Cowboys' leading rusher was Rico Dowdle. In what was a career season for the South Carolina Gamecock, Dowdle carried for 1,079 yards and 2 touchdowns while averaging 4.6 yards per carry. It was somewhat of a surprise success for Dowdle, who had never carried for more than 361 yards in a full season before. Dowdle will suit up for the Carolina Panthers next season after signing a one-year, $2.75 million deal in free agency. Aside from Dowdle last year, the Cowboys struggled in the run game, ranking number 27 in the league with 1,705 yards and number 30 with 4.0 yards per carry. With Dowdle now gone, Dallas is searching for answers. New Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer knows how important the rushing attack is in the NFL and spoke of it at the Combine in February, saying, "At the end of the day, you have to be able to run the football. We've made a commitment that we want to be great on both sides of the line of scrimmage." Dallas signed Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams in free agency, then drafted Longhorns running back Jaden Blue in the 5th round this season. They're all either inexperienced or have lacked recent significant success in the league. That's why at least one writer is urging the Cowboys to acquire Houston Texans running back Dameon Pierce via trade. Some Cowboys fans may question if this move even makes sense for the Cowboys. With Sanders reportedly looking explosive in OTAs and minicamp, and Williams filling that bruiser role, Pierce wouldn't fit anywhere in the room, Joseph Grisano of SportDFW.com wrote. However, any reports on running backs during OTAs and minicamp must be taken with a grain of salt since they aren't wearing pads. It's possible that Sanders will continue to look good when training camp starts on July 22nd. But there's also a real chance that when the pads come on, he looks like he did in Carolina. That is why the Cowboys should at least call about Pierce before training camp. Pierce is still a young player at just 25 years old. Across 3 seasons with the Texans, the former Florida Gator has rushed for 1,648 yards and 8 touchdowns, while averaging 4.1 yards per carry. It's possible he could find greater success behind a retooled Dallas offensive line and become the RB1 that some seem to think he could. In Houston, it's hard to believe he'll have the same opportunity behind 2-time Pro Bowler Joe Mixon, and now Houston has also signed Nick Chubb. That could make him available. But we're not sure it makes him desirable. If Pierce, who started there as a rookie, has what it takes to be an NFL first-stringer, why did the Texans bring in Chubb?